Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Here on Park City Television, we really strive to bring you the best of Park City in athletics and lifestyle, but we also are a representation of the community that we live in, both in triumph and in tragedy. And this morning we are sitting down with Park City School District Superintendent Dr. Ember Conley to talk about the recent events in the past few days in the Park City community. Good morning, Dr. Conley. Thank you for being here. So just to start off, because I know there are going to be some parents watching, we don't want to dispel any rumors. We don't want to, perpetuate any unsubstantiated information. But just for those who may not be aware, give us a brief summary of what has happened in the past few days.
Right. So it was notified Sunday afternoon rather, that we had a possible death of one of our students. Confirmed that with the Park City Police Department. It was Grant Seaver, who was a 13-year-old Treasure Mountain student, and put our crisis team together that afternoon, was ready for that morning, anticipating some of the reaction that we would have. Again, being a small community and families being very connected, and the students being in our school districts for many, many years, we knew that we would have to be very thoughtful on the elementary school that he had attended, of course going through Ecker Hill and then Treasure Mountain. So it's much more than just the students at Treasure Mountain. It's been the staff all the way down to the elementaries. Right. So at that point, continued to work through the process, had some grieving students and staff members, and yesterday morning was headed down to a conference, actually the Joint Education Conference. Got a phone call from the fire chief that there was a possible death of another student, and came back to Park City, and it was confirmed around 7:50 that we had lost another student, Ryan Ainsworth, again having gone through our system since early elementary, having siblings in the school. We knew that, first of all, that we had to follow law enforcement's lead because these have very large investigations, and now having a back-to-back deaths of two 13-year-old boys, it became even a greater investigation and a much more urgent situation.
Of course. And I think, speaking for all Park City parents, you just think this can't happen in our community. This isn't something that happens in Park City. This is something that we read about in other places that are far away from here. And the reality is, like so many people that have this happen in their community, they say, yes, it can. It can be anywhere.
It can.
While the causes of these tragedies are not fully known and the investigation is still undergoing, there is talk that this could be drug-related.
Right. So I think we need to even take a step back, looking back to this last May. I know that there was a lot of criticism to how it was handled, but a focus around mental health and social well-being, social emotional well-being. And so we had, thank you for saying that we thought this could never happen in Park City. We know the statistics that suicide / any type of student death continues to be one of the leading urgent matters in school systems.
And particularly in the state of Utah.
It is.
We're one of the top 10 suicide rates in the country.
And that's just, unbelievably tragic and mortifying to a parent. And I would say, so going forth in what are the causes, we don't know yet. We have some information from what the students have shared with us. Around this, I would say that the students are now really starting to talk to our counselors, our administration. They're talking to the parents. If they have any information, parents have come forward, working with the school district and the police department, bringing forth anything and everything that they can do to help prevent any more.
Well, and I think it's important to note the involvement that the students are now taking, and they see what's happened to their peers, to their friends, and they're now starting to open up and take advantage of these resources that you're providing. Talk a little bit about the response of the school district and what you guys are doing for both the benefit of the community, but specifically these peers of the students.
We are extremely fortunate in Park City. We have a counselor in every elementary school, and we have a team of counselors both at Ecker Hill, Treasure Mountain High School, and the Learning Center. That's not the case in a lot of our Utah schools. And so yesterday was, I woke up this morning just in awe of the teamwork that, I'm going to get emotional, that happened that morning, yesterday morning. Within a matter of really minutes, we had 20 to 25 counselors from our school district, Valley Behavioral Health, and the state of Utah So we reached out to the state of Utah. They sent people up, and we started getting resources out, not only to our students, then our families. And we got a call yesterday, late afternoon, from the Utah Crisis Hotline saying they're using us. They're, you know, thumbs up. It's working. People are calling.
That's so important to see the results, so you know that kids are actually reaching out.
I mean, and I even had emails and different people offering support, and that's the other thing in Park City. We really are a tight community, and when we have a tragedy like this, it's really all hands on deck. And when I say that, anywhere from Rich Bullo, who is our public health administrator, to the city, the county. We had a team of counselors from University of Utah reach out and say, if you need us to come, we'll cancel our schedules.
Be there. And I think, you know, of course, our thoughts and our prayers go out to the families of these two young boys, but I'm going to make the assumption that these parents were like all of us who said that would never happen to my son. And I know there are parents out there watching right now thinking, I say that about my child, what if I'm wrong? You know, what are some of your sort of professional advice for parents out there thinking, okay, what do I do now? You know, I want to protect my child. I want to protect their friends, this community. What can I do?
So I'm gonna do a two-prong answer. One is when you see your student, your child rather, my student, when you see your child having a change of behavior, or if you know that they've gone through something that's been difficult for them, and I want to say that things that may not seem difficult to us is difficult to them, and I think that as an adult we sometimes get callous to that these are new experiences for our students, and the coping mechanisms are different than what they were for when we were growing up.
Well, and you think of an experience in high school and you look back and say, oh, well, that was a phase, and I'm so glad that was over. Well, for the student, they're in it, and that can feel like their entire world at that moment.
Yep, and I think that there's been a change and I think it has a lot to do with our social media of this idea of perfection, and this idea that we can't show our emotions, and healthy ways to go through a crisis in their life. And so I would say, as a parent, you know, really being in tune with your child, and when you see that, don't be afraid to, first of all, let the school know there's something going on. They may have information that you don't. They're very much living, breathing with our kiddos, and then, you know, seeking outside support through counseling, through medical physicians, and even, I mean, the state has some amazing resources, just like I mentioned, for the crisis hotline. I would also say then the other side is, at the same time, being aware that when they go through a situation, or if their behavior changes, that you need to start being very proactive in being in their business. And as a parent of two teenage girls that I think that were on the other end, we both of them had certain situations that their behavior changed, and at that point we got in their business. Sure. And it was a point of, I'm going through your bedroom, I'm looking under your bed, I'm looking through your closet. If the social circle changes, which friends are they? Who are they? Do I know their parents? And I never had a problem, even when she was last year 17, going, hi, I'm Smokey's mom. Who are you?
Who are you?
Where is she? Is she really there?
Well, and I think a lot of parents too think, you know, I want to respect their privacy, and they're, you know, growing into young adults, but realistically, this is not the time, you know, that this could save their life.
It could, and I would say, don't be surprised when you find something. And when I say when you find something, whether it's drug paraphernalia, alcohol, any type of substance that you know that they're not supposed to have, you call the police. They'll first of all they'll help you go through this. And I would say, anytime I've ever called the police with different situations, and granted, I know the position that I'm in,
sure,
but I've seen it with parents at any level. They can then, first of all, if there is a substance, confiscate it, get it out of your house, and then don't hesitate to reach out to people. I think that's the hardest thing as parents, that we don't want to say,
I need help.
I need help. I don't know how to deal with this situation. There's a lot of people that do.
Parenting is a team sport a lot of times, especially with teenagers. And Park City has so many amazing resources. I think something that parents can strive to do is what you've created in the school right now, is a really safe environment for where kids feel comfortable to express themselves and talk. Talk a little bit about the app that you guys are rolling out that'll bring a little more confidentiality to it.
Right. So there's a level of I'm gonna call it frustration. I don't really know how to express that feeling that I have right now. We started last May when the last situation happened with, we knew that we had some mental illness that we're dealing with our students that we just aren't equipped to handle right now. And so we started looking at what other resources can we bring in. And so we have, first of all, had a series of events that we still have scheduled over the year, beginning with an additional drug forum that Treasure Mountain started last year, seeing that there was some issues around drug use. And I want to say that it's starting earlier. And it's this,
which is so disheartening.
And it's scary as a parent. I mean, I have an almost 8-year-old, and I'm thinking, I mean, I'm enjoying every single minute of him playing with his Hot Wheels because I know what's coming. Right. And so we had a series of events planned, and one of the events that we had planned was rolling out a new app that students can download on their phone called Safe Utah. So this has been a series of states that have been working together. It started with Safe to Tell in Colorado after the Columbine shooting, and it's now just continued to evolve. And it's an app that students can download, then directly either chat with a therapist, find different resources if they're feeling sad, if they're feeling depressed, if they're having those feelings of suicide, they can immediately reach out to someone, and it's totally confidential.
Anonymous, and it's right there in the palm of their hand.
Yep.
And what's the name of the app? How can these kids get it?
Safe UT. And so we're actually today, we weren't planned because it's a state product, and we were planned to have it the second week of October during Red Ribbon Week. Actually, it's the third week. And so it was part of our activities that we had planned. Because of this last situation, they have released it, and we're actually going to be downloading it today. We have some tutorials that some teachers have put together, our tech team, and having our students do that as an activity today.
Wonderful. All right, well, Dr. Conley, I know you have a lot of media to get to, but I thank you for making the time to speak to our local audience, and thank you as a parent for all that you guys are doing.
I appreciate having any time that we can share the message of supporting our students, and it's a scary time.
It is a scary time, but it's a time that Park City usually really comes together.
It is.
And we'll be okay.
Thank you.
This is the Mountain Morning Show, right here on Park City Television.